I don't think there's anything better than prime rib. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Overall, covering everything, nothing better than prime rib. Absolutely fantastic.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Gerard Grills. My name is Gerardo and this is my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the king of holiday meals. We're going to be doing the prime rib roast. We're going to be smoking it using the Traeger Pro 780 you see here right behind me, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Prime rib is always delicious and it's always a showstopper for pretty much any feast you have. So trust me, this is going to be absolutely fantastic and you're not going to want to miss out. This video is also in collaboration with a good buddy of mine, Darren Williams, over at Ash Kickin' Barbecue. So make sure you head on over to his channel and check out his video on how to do prime rib his way. I will link his video either in the description below and up here somewhere or up here somewhere. In one of these, you'll see a link over to his video. So make sure you hit him up and check that video out. Are you ready to get going? Let's go.
Right, so let's get going here. Let's prep this beauty. I've got here about a 5-pound prime rib. You can see it's got the bone still on, not taken off or anything, all intact. I picked this up from my butcher and it's all been tied up. I'm gonna actually untie this because I'm gonna French these bones a little bit, and then I'm going to then tie it back up once we're done seasoning it. So let me show you how we do that. All right, so now that you've got the ties taken off, you can see here there's a natural seam in the prime rib. You can see here, there's kind of like where the ribeye is. You can see it there, and you can see the kind of seam of fat that kind of cuts across. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut straight down this end and kind of remove this piece of meat right down to the bones. We're not gonna waste any of the meat. I'm still gonna cook it because trust me, it is delicious. So when you're looking at it this way, here's the seam. You can almost feel it with your fingers. Take a good sharp knife and just cut straight down. And then what you want to do is you want to just kind of French it out or cut out the meat and try to get as close to the bone as you can. Now that you've got it down, then what you want to do is just kind of clean out these little bits in between the bones, and that's just going to give us a little bit of a look. There you go. And now once you've got that, you just want to kind of clean these up a little bit. Super simple, not a whole lot of work. Okay, so here we go. So you can see here I've removed as much as I can out of the meat, and there's a little bit of a membrane that holds the bones together here that I've removed from the back, and just kind of scraped it down as much as I can to kind of get rid of all that meat and give us this nice little bone look. And that's just going to give you that extra. You don't have to do this. Obviously, it's completely optional, but it does give you a nice little look, that traditional wow look at that prime rib look. So there's that. The next piece to clean this up, what we're gonna do is, you certainly don't have to do this, and I've done this lots of different ways. I tend to leave this fat cap on pretty much almost every time I cook it. Today I'm going to be removing it, and I'm just gonna remove it so I can get more of the seasoning into closer to the meat, because we're going to be dry brining this in our fridge for the next little bit. So take your time with this. You don't want to remove too much meat. You just want to get your knife, get a good boning knife, something with a good flex on it, and you want to make sure that you get underneath some of this and then remove it. That's it. We got it there. We got it all removed. You can see there's not a lot of meat that really comes off. It's kind of, the fat is on top of a little bit of a silver skin, so it's kind of easy to pull out. And then you can see there's still a little bit of a seam of fat here, but also that seam is kind of what continues on into the rest of the prime rib. So we're good with that meat there, or that amount of fat that's there. So that's it. So next we're gonna season this, and we're gonna do this at minimum 2 hours before you put this in the smoker. If you have more time to do that, fantastic. I would recommend doing it overnight if you've got the time, but otherwise a minimum 2 hours, and then, you know, like I said, you can go up to overnight. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually put a little bit of a binder on here, and I'm gonna use Worcestershire sauce. All right, so for our seasoning, we're gonna just make a simple homemade seasoning here. This is perfect for all beef. It works really, really well on prime rib. I've got 2 tablespoons of sea salt, a tablespoon of thyme, a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of pepper, ground black pepper. You can use coarse ground or 16 mesh if you've got. And then in the middle there is a tablespoon of rosemary, just ground rosemary. You can use rosemary leaves as well. I just had the ground stuff here, so that's what we're gonna use, and we're gonna mix that all up. There we go, and once you've got a nice little mix, what you're gonna do is we're gonna start on the bottom side. And this is just so that the top doesn't get messed up, because that's gonna be our finished side or our presentation side. We're gonna start here and just liberally coat this kind of everywhere. Perfect. You see nicely coated. You see lots of those herbs, a ton of that salt that's on there, and all these flavors are going to melt into this meat and they're going to permeate into the inside of it, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. That's all you want to do for the seasoning portion. Next, what we're going to do is I'm going to tie this back up just like how it was before, and then we're going to put it on a tray and just throw it in the fridge for the next 2 to 4 hours until I'm ready to throw it into the smoker. But like I said, make sure you get a good at least 2 hours of this dry brining in your fridge, and then throw it into your smoker. Let's tie it up. Okay, so we've tied it up. I've just tied it around the bone here, and just a simple double knot in there, nothing need to do with any fancy knots. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna let us keep our shape on our prime ribs. You can see it's nicely perfectly rounded. It's not flattened out or anything. So we've got that in there. I'm gonna actually hit it with a little bit more rub because I see that I've rubbed some of it off as I was trying to tie it. So just gonna patch that up a bit, just to make sure we've got good coverage all the way around. Perfect. And now we're ready to set this in the fridge. Like I said, we're gonna put this in there for a minimum of 2 hours, and then we're gonna hit it with some smoke. I'll see you guys when we're ready to do that. Okay, here we go. So we're ready to throw it into the smoker here. We've got our Traeger running at 250 degrees. I've got my prime rib here on a tray with a rack. I'm going to go ahead and throw it in here. I'm gonna put it right in the middle here, right about there. That way it's gonna get perfect heat from both ends, and about halfway through I'm gonna give it a rotate just to make sure it's cooking evenly. I've got my cast iron pan in here preheating already because we're gonna be searing in that. I'm just gonna close this lid and make sure we save that heat, but I'm gonna let this roll until the internal temperature gets to about 115 to 120 degrees. And then I'm gonna take it out, let it rest, and crank this Traeger up to about 500 to get that cast iron nice and hot. All right, so we've got our notification here that the internal temperature is now hitting 115 degrees, and that's what we're looking at right there. That's what it looks like. So let's get it out of here. We're gonna let it tent it loosely with some tin foil while we get our cast iron as hot as we can get it here. So I'm gonna crank the Traeger up to 500 degrees so that we can sear it. I'll show you when we're ready to sear. Okay, here we go. So we've got this up to 500 degrees. We're all ready to roll here. We're ready to do some searing. My cast iron's about 450 degrees. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got here some compound butter that I've made, and this is just a little bit of butter mixed with some herbs and a whole bunch of garlic. That in there. Now we've taken our meter out already because we don't need it anymore. Now we're just gonna place this over top of this. Got nice and bubbly. We're gonna go ahead and do this. We're gonna do it for about 2 minutes per side, and the entire time I'm gonna try to baste this as much as I can. Again, what we're looking for is that nice golden sear color all the way around. Got it everywhere here on both sides. And I'm just gonna tip it over and try to get this side all seared up. All right, and it's all set. We're all seared all over the place. It looks beautiful. If you look, it looks absolutely fantastic. So let's get this out of here and let's get it resting. We're gonna rest it for a good 20 minutes before we slice into it. See you in a little bit. Well, all right, here we go. Now it's rested It looks beautiful, and you can see, oh, this looks amazing. Just a beautiful, beautiful cut of beef here. So I'm gonna slice one of these bones and let's have a go at it, shall we? Absolutely gorgeous. You can see here, wall to wall pink with a perfect sear all the way around. My, oh my, that is perfection. Let's have a taste. Okay, here we go. All done, ready to rock. Like I said, wall to wall pink, absolutely fantastic. So let's have a taste because I cannot wait. I don't think there's anything better than prime rib. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Overall, covering everything, nothing better than prime rib. Absolutely fantastic. Honestly, if you're not having prime rib for your holiday meals, you're definitely missing out. This is so good. And when you do a little bit of smoke in there like we did on the Traeger, it adds so much more depth of flavor. Get a lot of that herbiness and a lot of the salt that we put in there earlier. It's all permeated into the meat, so not just getting the crust on the outside with the flavor, the inside of the meat is also getting a lot of that. Plus you get some of that smoke flavor in there, and it's absolutely so delicious. Just a subtle hint of smoke, absolutely fantastic. And it didn't really take much time. Mine sat in the fridge after we seasoned it for about 4 hours, and then into the smoker at 250 degrees, and I just let it ride until the internal temperature got to about 120 degrees internal. Got that cast iron nice and hot, dropped some butter in there, and seared it for about a minute aside until we got that beautiful golden color all the way around. As you can see here, it's pink all the way around. Just that little bit of sear all the way around, just enough to give you that perfect crust, and one delicious medium rare prime rib in the middle. This is one heck of a prime rib. Traeger smoked prime rib. I don't know what else to say. It's amazing. You need to do it. Go and do it right now. Actually, finish watching this video and then go do it right now. And like I said at the beginning of the video, this is a collaboration with my good buddy Darren over at Ash Kickin' Barbecue. So make sure you head over to his channel and check out his prime rib video, because I bet you anything it's going to be just as killer as this one. I don't know if it's gonna be better. I don't know. But I mean, you be the judge. Maybe you make prime rib twice and it's gonna be delicious. I guarantee you, his recipes always knock it out of the park. I'll link his channel in the description and maybe in one of these boxes up here. I'm not sure where it'll show up, but you'll see him linked up there. Head on over to Ash Kickin' Barbecue, give him a subscribe, check out his prime rib video there. That's all I've got for you today. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see some more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any content. Until next time, I'll catch you in the next G-Rod Grills.